Atalanta had to complete their domestic season, had to play 12 extra games, and that showed today, certainly in the second half, where they just looked exhausted. PSG, of course, have had months to rest up and prepare pretty much for this actual game. Is that an excuse that you can offer Atalanta?
It's not, because the way they play, it's very demanding. And you expect to see them slowing down at some point, because nobody, not human being, can play like that for 90 minutes. It's you have to make sure that you balance properly, to make sure you can finish the game properly. So it's hard, and they always play like that. They've been very good, but yeah, it's an excuse also for Atalanta, because it's a restart. The preparation was, or the restarting season was really bad and very different than normally, where they had to train individually. So of course it's really demanding, but you know, I see Bayern, I see City, I see other teams who are maybe more prepared. They are very ready and up for finishing the season. Atalanta, they've been at the top and the maximum of their possibility for a season. So at some point, of course, they went down.
Dan, just quickly on that point. I think it was more of a hindrance for PSG, and I said that on the show yesterday. It was one of the reasons I felt Atalanta could win the game. I felt it was more of a hindrance for PSG, the lack of game time. I don't think, and it's only my opinion, I don't think Atalanta were tired because they finished the Italian season. I think they were tired at the end of the game as a product of the style of their play. And that means they play such a high-tempo, pressing, squeezing the opposition, leaving space behind type of game, that when it gets to 65, 70, 80 minutes, automatically, because of the way you play, the tiredness creeps in, then you have to make the substitution. So I think the fatigue that Atalanta clearly had at the end, for me, is a product of the way Gasperini has them playing, rather than finishing the Serie A season.
Is it naive for me then, Don, to say, well, why didn't he just change the style? Because it was clear. It was clear what was going to happen when Mbappe came on. That ball kept going behind. Surely there should have been some sort of adaptation there to try and kind of
but it was already done,
defense.
Dan.
Yeah.
It was already done. Yeah. They'd played an hour. Sorry, before you go to Don. It's all very well saying, right, we'll go and sit back. But they'd taken an hour out the legs by pressing already. And that's hard to reverse. Once you come out the traps and play like that, you know, it is difficult to reverse that tiredness. That's the point.
And also as well, Dan, you might have to try and correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the Atalanta players in the last couple of minutes went down injured, and Gasperini had already made his 5 substitutions, so effectively they were down to 10 men, so the passenger was just standing up front. I can't quite remember who it was, and they were trying to then just see the game out. So it's easy in hindsight to say Gasperini should change, but it's part of their style. It's part of why we love watching Atalanta, because he does things that no other manager would do. You know, when you're commentating on Atalanta, and I think I said it, you know, when you're guessing what substitution he's going to make, you know, and you're thinking, well, Zapata is absolutely shattered. Surely he's going to change Muriel for Zapata. It doesn't. He takes the midfield player off and puts Muriel up front to try and get that second goal. So he's a manager that does things completely off the cuff. And he's the manager at Gasperini that I think excites everyone and makes the neutral, I think, fall in love with Atalanta and how they play, because, you know, what a wonderful season they've had. I mean, they've got so far in the Champions League, and it could have been a little bit better, but for 5 or 6 minutes and a couple of worldy players for PSG. So I think when all is said and done and the dust will settle in a couple of days' time, I think we look back on how the Italian season went for Atalanta and the run they had in Europe and say, well done, they were absolutely brilliant.
Is Frank gone in the huff, Dan? Because
he's gone.
His camera went to black there, and I think we're not praising PSG enough. And like typical Frenchman, he said, "I've gone in the." He's in the huff.
Craig, what's it like to play in a game like that, where you've got like 20 minutes to go? You know that you have nothing left in the tank. You're trying to hold on, because everyone in that Atalanta side must have been aware. Are you looking at the clock, just wanting it to go quickly?
Who did you ask me that?
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me of the '98 World Cup in the opening game against Brazil, because it was 1-1. We lost I won't go through the game, but it was 1 each at half time. And, plenty of legs in the tank for the first 20 minutes or so of the second half, but clearly getting pegged back and it's hot, and you're just getting further and further back, and all the big stars are getting on the ball, and Rivaldo and Ronaldo, and you're looking at the clock, and you're just trying to see this thing out. And then, I think it was like 12 minutes before the end, an unfortunate own goal, and your heart sinks, because you think, right, what's the chances of us creating a really good chance again against this Brazil side? And I get the feeling that's how Atalanta felt. I mean, they did have a chance at the end when Muriel was through, but he was very hesitant, and that was the real only chance. There was a chance at the back post 10 minutes before that, I think, to make it 2-0, 10, 15 minutes before that was sliced wide. But I think Atalanta, they knew in their heart of hearts that the chances of creating something else was difficult. And it is hard, because you're sat in there, you're watching the clock, you're trying to get over the line, in a split second, and Mbappe or Neymar can do something brilliant. And ultimately, that's what happened.
What's it like, Don?
It's exactly what Craig said. It's the thousands of pictures you've been taking when you've been playing football from an early age until you turn then professional. And when it's going well, and when you're winning 4s and 5s, the dynamics are just go forward, and you've got so much energy in your legs. But also, you've been scarred over the years as well, where you are taking a battering in terms of possession, and you have to give the ball up to the opposition, and you're giving the ball up to great players. So therefore, the only thing that you've got is to try and preserve something in your legs for a last-ditch tackle. You then don't want to run out of your position. If I'm playing central midfield alongside Craig, we wouldn't then bomb forward. We want to sit and protect our centre half. So we then are not doing things that we normally are used to doing. So it's totally different. And then, of course, you've got the clock that's running down. And when you're hanging on, it's running down so slow. And you're looking at it, and you think you get to 90 minutes. And just going back to how the game unfolded for the Atalanta players, PSG's first goal was the killer. As soon as it went to 1-1, I think everyone who was watching that game on TV around the world would have thought, well, PSG will win this in extra time. They've got more about them. They've got more legs. Atalanta have took that punch in the face where they were so close to winning the game 1-0. But we didn't see a sort of a last-minute winner, and that would have been heartbreaking for them.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.